Galactic greetings to thee. It is I, David Vermillion, your ever so humble and gracious host of the Star Wars Geeks Unite podcast, also known as Get Your Geek On. Now, we've already done a top 10 Jedi list, and so I thought it's only fair, naturally, to do the other side of the coin and we do our top 10 Sith list. Now, let me stress this is in no particular order. In fact, this isn't even a list of the best Sith or the strongest Sith or anything like that. No, we did March Madness already. We already ranked and we found out who the best Sith were. I'm not doing that. These are my own personal favorite Sith. You can put them in order if you want. You can put mine in order or you can submit your own. Leave a comment in the YouTube section. Love to see your favorite Sith or put mine in order. Go for it. So in no particular order, my top 10 favorite Sith of all time from any genre, and yeah, I'm including the no longer valid canon that wasn't really canon to begin with, expanded universe. You know, my comics are still there. Okay, they're not going anywhere, so the characters are still, working for me. First, how do you got to start off with Vader. I mean, you can't talk Star Wars at all without talking about Darth Vader. So he's definitely on my list for a number of reasons. The Hunt, the Purge, what he did in episode 3 and 4, 5, and 6, and yada, yada, yada. I mean, do I really need to explain? It's Darth Vader, for God's sake. You can't talk Vader without talking about Darth Sidious. Palpatine being what he was, he brought down a republic, he established an empire, yada, 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 yada. If you don't know Sidious, what are you doing? Speaks for itself. Here's one that might surprise people, or maybe not. Darth Maul is on my list. He's my third on there. Not just Darth Maul from the Phantom Menace, not just Darth Maul from the Clone Wars, although I think he was done a disservice in the Clone Wars. He didn't really have much of a purpose. He just kind of wandered aimlessly to do his own thing. The Darth Maul also that I wrote in Star Wars Awakening and Split Horizons and soon to be released in the next year or so, I hope, Hunted. Darth Maul is a deep and complex character. I wish they'd done way more with him in the Phantom Menace than they did, but they didn't, so oh well. Speaking of which, that new comic came out, Son of Dathomir, so, you ought to check that out. Gonna go old school a little bit. The Sith Emperor, Lord Vitiate. I mean, people pronounce them differently. And yes, my pronunciations are going to be a little weird because everybody pronounces things differently. So, don't worry about it. This guy reigned for 1,000 years. Okay, think about that for a minute. 1,000-year reign. I mean, you don't last for a millennia by yourself without having some serious backing behind you. So, he's on my list. Exar Kun, also on my list. I first read about him in the Kevin J. Anderson, was it Jedi Academy trilogy, I think? The one where Lucas goes to Yavin 4, there's Kip Duran, and the ghost, like, zaps Luke and all that. That's where I first read about him, and then I started reading some more about him, and the more I read about him, the more I liked him. He's on my list. Darth Bane. You got to have Bane on the list. The founder of the Rule of Two, definitely on my list. Of course, where there's Bane, there's Xana. She's also on my list. These two, an interesting relationship between them. I did some research on them while I was writing Split Horizons, and the more I read about them, the more I liked it. Really, I thought they had a unique relationship as far as the Sith Order is concerned. Krayt, Darth Krayt, lived for like 150-something years. Named himself after a Krayt dragon. He was able to survive from the Old Republic to the New Republic and give the Jedi fits in the new Jedi Order. What more can you say? Great guy, great character. I like his character. This one this one's coming out of left field a little bit as I run down my notes here. Ulic Qel-Droma when he turned Sith. There have been a lot of stories about light Jedi falling into the darkness and then redeeming themselves. We've seen it with Anakin. We saw it with Jason Solo. We've seen it with blah, 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 blah. But this one was different. This one touched me a little differently. I really like. I mean, his whole plan was kind of to fall, but not really, and he didn't understand. He thought that on paper his plan was perfect, and when it actually happened, it was way different than what he thought it was going to be. And well, read the comic. I like Ulit Keldruma and Nomi Sunrider. I really like that era. Good era. Um, Wait a minute, but that's only 9. Revan. I mean, come on, Revan, Ravan, whatever you want to call him. He's probably the most famous Sith Lord not named Vader or Sidious. He's beloved, he's reviled, he's popular, he's a badass, he's awesome, he's terrifying. He is Revan. I love this guy, just love him to death. Notice who I left off the list. Was not a fan. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Darth Tyrannus. Just sorry, not a fan. Actor did a good job. Don't get me wrong there, but wasn't a fan of the character. So that's my top 10 Sith in no particular order. Not naming favorites, but you can put them in order. Just go down to the comments section, take what I got, put it in order, see what you think. Or give me your top 10. Leave it right there in the comments section. Love to know what y'all think. See y'all on Monday night, every Monday night. And don't forget, stay geeky.